What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So you're probably wondering, Mason, what's the ultimate NBCSN Gold rant? I mean, you've already ranted about it a few times. What makes this ultimate? Well, this is the most frustrated that I think I've been so far with this whole gold thing. Paying $50 extra to watch games that we were able to watch for free the past several years now. This is the most frustrated I've been with it. This is the fourth time that this has happened, and yet somehow this one pisses me off just a little bit more. Because it's not just the fact that, oh, the Chelsea game wasn't shown on TV. No, I'm used to that. I've already had to go through that three other times this season. Today was different, though, because all those other times, there were two games going on. And so it made sense. It's like, okay, so there are two other games going on. They just decided not to choose Chelsea because they don't like Chelsea. Okay, I get it. That's fine. They would rather show Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man U. They want to show all those other teams ahead of Chelsea. Fine, go ahead. I don't care. You can rip on my team all you want. We're the champions of England still until the end of this season, so you know what? I'm proud of my team. I don't care if everybody at NBCSN hates them. But today was not that case. It was not a case of wanting to show another team more. It was just they did not want to show our game. And you're probably wondering, well, I mean, there was only one game on TV. But the thing is, there's always been, at least as far as I can tell, the goal rush. Whenever there's this, set of 5 or 6 games at 10 o'clock on Saturday or whatever day, there's been a goal rush. And so they'll show one game on TV. And I thought about this 2 other weekends. And those 2 weekends, Man City was on TV, and then there's one weekend where Tottenham was on Goal Rush, and the other weekend Liverpool was on Goal Rush. And so I'm like, okay, so they're going to do that today. I saw Goal Rush on the app, and I'm like, sweet, they may show the Chelsea game on Goal Rush since Man U's on TV. So I click on the Goal Rush app. What are they showing? It couldn't be anything but Chelsea, right? I mean, one game is Man U versus Burnley, which is a big game. Considering, Burnley have done very well away from home. Man U kind of struggling at the moment. Chelsea's facing Brighton at home. That should be an easy game. So, yeah, I understand why Man U's being shown over Chelsea today, but there are no other games going on. The rest of them are Bournemouth versus West Ham, boring. Leicester versus Watford, boring. What were some of the other ones? There was a Stoke versus Huddersfield, boring. West Brom versus Everton turned out to be a 0-0 draw, completely boring. So, yeah, there's no other game to show but Chelsea versus Brighton. But no, they're like, you know what? We hate Chelsea so much, we're going to show the Man U game on Goal Rush as well. So in case you don't want to watch Man U on TV, in case you don't want to watch it on the app, we're also going to show it on Goal Rush. That's too far. That is taking it beyond just, oh, we don't want to show the Chelsea game. We hate Chelsea and we're not going to show them at all. And that's frustrating to me because out of all the top 6 teams, we are the ones that have been neglected on TV the most. I can remember 2-3 times maybe for Tottenham, Liverpool, Arsenal, definitely only once or twice for Man U and Man City. Chelsea have already been neglected 4 times this season, either on TV or on the app as well, on Goal Rush. They've been neglected to where I can't watch the game as a Chelsea fan 4 times. That is more than all the other top teams, and we are the champions of England right now. We deserve to be shown. Even if it's not on TV, in a day like this. Okay, you're not going to show it on TV, you're only going to show one game on TV. Okay, so it costs too much to put it on another channel. Fine, show it on Goal Rush. That's all you got to do, show it on Goal Rush. You've done it for the other teams. You did it for Liverpool. You did it for Tottenham. You're not going to do it for Chelsea on a weekend or on a weekday where there's literally no other game going on. You're going to show the Man U game twice. That is bias beyond belief for me. As a Chelsea fan, I'm just sitting here thinking, how much more obvious can you get that you guys hate Chelsea? Any season where they're talking about, oh, who's got a chance to win the title, Chelsea's always mentioned in the top 4, but never winning it. Every season, it's Man City, or it's Man U, or it's Arsenal. They never look at Chelsea. Nobody's ever like, oh yes, Chelsea have got it won. It's never that. And we've won it twice now in the past 3 years. So this is the most frustrated I've been. Because it's beyond belief just how biased they are against us and how the fact that they're not going to show our game when there's literally only 2 games going on of note at this time slot. So yeah, I'm super pissed. I don't know what else to do about it aside from rant about it here on YouTube and hope somebody watches it and says, you know what, that's not right, and takes a stand with me. I've been putting the boycott hashtag gold, or got that mixed up, hashtag boycott gold all over Twitter. I put like 3 longly worded tweets down today when I found out that they weren't showing it on the Goal Rush. So yeah, stand with me if you're a fellow Chelsea fan. If you're in the U.S. and you hate the fact that we don't get to watch it, stand with me. Go onto Twitter, hashtag boycott gold, hashtag. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. But yeah, just tweet about it. Make it known that we're not going to stand for this. All the other top 6 teams hardly get neglected, and we get neglected the most, even though we're champions of England. I mean, that's not right. That is just embarrassing, just how biased that is. So anyway, with all that being said, this jersey right here, this jersey is my good luck charm. I'm always gonna wear this from now on, and I thought about it on the what was that, Saturday when we played against Everton. I didn't wear it. I was wearing something else. I had my Chelsea jacket on, but I didn't have that on because I'm just like, whatever. I'm not even really thinking about what I wear most of the time. Obviously, I talked about that other jersey and how, whenever I wear it, we typically play horribly. So I don't wear that anymore, but I was wearing my Chelsea jacket, and I'm just not thinking much about it. And then we play terribly, and then we draw against Everton. I'm like, what the heck? Well, today I'm listening to the game because I'm having to watch it on Chelsea TV, watching the 2 guys commentate on it, and it sounds like we're having a terrible first half. We're not really creating a lot of chances. We're not really putting pressure on them. We're not really letting them threaten us at all. It's not like we were not playing well enough to where Brighton looked the better team. But we didn't look like ourselves. We didn't look like we had that same attacking flair that we've seen most of this season. And so near the end of the first half, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to put this on. Maybe I'm not really a huge believer in like luck and chance and supernatural, whatever. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's put on the jersey. Let's see what happens. I put it on. Almost instantly, we get a really good chance. And then beginning the second half, it's like, boom, goal. And then we just look so much better throughout the entire second half. I'm like, you know what? This jersey is going to be worn from now on. I am not wearing this jersey again. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, obviously it's very hard to review whenever I don't get to actually see the game. I did get to see both of the goals, both very well taken. First one, we've seen this so many times. Azpilicueta picks it up, delivers just this brilliant cross, even though it's a horrible angle. And Morata makes a great run and nods it in near post. Seen that a lot, and it happened again today. So good to see them combining again. And then the second one was a corner. Fabregas crosses in. Alonso flicks it at the near post towards the back post. Nice little flick on as well. So yeah, 2 very well taken goals. I guess talk about the lineup a little bit. Pretty interesting to see some of the changes. Obviously with Morata coming back, I kind of expected to see the switch back to a 3-5-2. It is a pretty effective, I guess, formation overall. I think the personnel could use a little bit of work just because I look at this and I think, we do have a lot of defensive stability with 5 in the midfield, but when it comes to the attack, Bakayoko gets up a little bit, Fabregas will get up a little bit, and then our wingbacks provide the width. But the personnel that's in there isn't quite right, because Bakayoko, okay, I can see him making runs through the midfield. Fabregas typically does well with the quick passes, but Alonso, I just don't see him providing enough on the wings. I don't see him enough when he's on the ball, creating enough on it. He typically puts in maybe 3 or 4 good crosses throughout an entire game, and that's in a game where he's crossing the ball a lot. So, I don't know, obviously with January coming up, we are probably looking to strengthen that left side a little bit more. But right now, I would say, why not try one of the, either Pedro or Willian out there? I think both of them have quality, and they can both play that wing-back role pretty well. Pedro, we've seen play there a few times. I think he's got enough attacking quality to really do well there. Willian has just so much pace and energy. I think he could do well on the wings. But I just think whenever you've got this 5-man midfield, I think the wingbacks are a big part of your attack. Whenever it's 3-4-3, you've got three people in the middle up top. That's a lot of people to move around to create space, so you don't really have to worry about your wingbacks. They're just there to provide width if you want to get the ball out there. But whenever it's only two up top and there's three in the middle of the field, you really need your wingbacks to be good quality, either on the ball or making runs off of it. And Alonso just lacks that little bit of quality. Obviously, right now we don't have many other options, but I'd like to see Pedro or Willian get a chance out there to see what they can do. They both have shown that they have the work rate to go and win the ball back. So I think on the defensive side of it, I think they'd be good enough. But that's the only real problem I have with that. The rest of it, I do think the midfield three of Fabregas, Bakayoko, and Conte work really well together. You've got Fabregas who can tend to sit a little bit deeper and look long, or if he gets up, he can generally play pretty well with the quick 1-2 passing. Bakayoko has shown he's got the ability to sort of pick up the ball, hold it up with strength, and just run at people and sort of bully his way through the defense. And then Conte is just kind of that buffer in between those two midfielders and the defense. He's just there to cut off anything, make sure they're not running at our defense without any pressure. So I think those three really work well together. And then our back three, Christensen was out with illness today, so it ended up being Cahill in the middle with Rudiger and Azpilicueta. From what I could tell, it worked pretty well. I don't know if I'd stick with Cahill in the middle that much, just because I don't think he's not really the type that's going to drop deep like Christensen does or step up like Ampadu and Luis do. So I don't see him really being effective in that middle. I think he's more effective as one of the side three. But today it seemed to work pretty well, especially because Rudiger and Azpilicueta typically do a good job of covering anyway. So, but as far as what I could tell from the individual performances, Courtois had to make a couple saves tonight, didn't really have much else to do aside from that, so kind of a quiet night for him. Azpilicueta sounded like he was doing really well defensively, and obviously had that great cross in for the assist. But it sounded like he was putting in quite a few like that, and I love the fact that he's got that ability to sort of step up into the midfield and just dump a ball in that can find either Bakayoko or Murata making a run in. So it sounded like he did that several times, and one of them ended up working out, so that's good to hear. Cahill, didn't hear any really bad things about him. I heard he had to make a few good defensive blocks and clearances later on when Brighton started to push forward a little bit more. So it sounded like he did pretty well. Rudiger sounded like he was doing really well defensively on corners in the air. Sounded like he was doing really good switching it as well, finding Moses on the far side. So overall, it sounded like he had a good performance. Alonso, I heard a couple things. Obviously, he got the goal. But I heard only a couple attacking moments. Defensively, I didn't really hear much from him. So it's kind of hard to tell how he did without getting to actually see him play. But it sounded like it was kind of a typical Alonso performance. He had a couple moments and then he had a quiet rest of the afternoon. Moses on the far side sounded like he was much more involved, running at the defense, trying to hit in crosses. It sounded like his quality could use a little bit more work because his crosses would get blocked or he delivered into an area where there was nobody. But then he sounded like he had some really good ones as well that were very dangerous, just nobody was there. So it sounded like he was kind of hit and miss, and typically that is Moses. He kind of dumps balls in sometimes, and sometimes it works out brilliantly, sometimes it just sort of trickles into nothing. So, but his hard work is really what keeps him in the team consistently. Into the midfield, Fabregas sounded like he had another first half where things didn't really go very well, but then second half he stepped it up. But he's sort of been, it's sort of been his game recently where it seems like he's slowed down a little bit. He doesn't have that quick turn and find a pass. It sounds like he's got picked off a few times. Sounds like his passes have gone astray a few times. And that's not the Fabregas that I remember from last year when we won. So I don't know if maybe age is catching up to him, but it's definitely something we might want to look to whenever we're looking in January. Are we going to pick up anybody? Well, that may be one place we look and say, well, Fabregas might be slowing down a little bit. So because that is something whenever we sold Matic, the reason I was okay with it was because last season he was kind of hit and miss. He had a couple good performances, but then he had a couple not so good performances. And Fabregas is kind of having that this season. So I feel like he might be on his way out, but we'll see over the next few games if he can step it up. Conte sounded like he was doing his normal duties of just cleaning up in the midfield. Sounded like he had a really good game. And then Bakayoko sounded like he had a couple good performance or a couple good moments and then a couple bad moments. I did see on the highlights for the first half he had missed a clear-cut chance where it was just like it fell right to his foot, and all he had to do was just sort of take a touch and tap it. But he tried to one time it and then just missed the goal, even though it was only like 5 yards out. So I don't know. He's still kind of hit and miss. I think his youth is definitely showing a lot of the time. But I do believe if he gets more time, if he gets more time to grow in his experience, I think he could really grow into a really good midfielder. I mean, he's got the strength and the speed to really be kind of that Matic that we had for a couple years. So I'd still say give him some more time because he does have the quality. And then into the front two of Morata and Hazard. Hazard sounded like he was just tearing it up as usual, putting on a show for everybody, tearing up the defense, making them work, making them struggle. Unfortunate that he didn't get an assist or goal, but I think that's not what's most important to him. I think what's most important is helping the team and giving us momentum when we need it. Because typically what's been for us this season is we've struggled, and all of a sudden Hazard gets going, and now we're just pinning them back and we're dominating the game. And that's what sounded like it happened in the second half. Hazard all of a sudden picks up his pace, he picks up his game, and all of a sudden now we're on the front foot and we're looking the better team. So always good to see whenever he can put in a good performance, and it sounded like he put in another good one today. And then Morata sounded like, aside from the goal, just kind of average. Didn't really hear a whole lot from him. He did have a few good moments, moments where he cut back the ball and then, do pretty good to get to the end line and then help sort of set up a play. But I don't know, I just feel like one of the things that he really lacks at times is not necessarily the strength, because he has it, but the willingness to stay up under a challenge. There are so many times where he goes over a little too easily. I don't think that happened too many times today, but you can sort of see there are times whenever he gets out-muscled, and instead of sort of trying to hold up under the pressure, he just sort of lets himself get beat, and then we've lost the ball again. So I feel like we don't keep possession enough whenever he's up top. It's something I want to see a little bit more of. So as far as the subs that came on, all of them pretty good subs. Willian comes on for Hazard, which is fine because we do need Hazard to stay rested up, playing all these games back to back to back. But Willian coming on does give us a lot more pace, and on top of that gives us a little bit more defensive cover as well, because he's going to work back more than Hazard will. But it sounded like he came on with a lot of energy, and I think he's done very well coming off the bench this season. Who came on after that? I think it was Batshuayi came on for Morata after that one. Didn't really hear much about him, so I assume he kind of had a quiet game coming on. And then Drinkwater came on for Conte. Kind of a strange decision in my opinion, just because Conte typically can just work without any end. So I'm surprised that they decided to take him off, because I don't think he's a player that really needs to rest that often. But on top of that, you bring on Drinkwater, who isn't a bad player, just isn't as energetic and as speedy as Conte is. And it kind of makes me think back to our game against Everton, where we took off Moses, who is very fast and energetic, and brought on Zappacosta, who's not as fast or quick. And I'm just like, why are we doing that this season? Why are we taking off our fast and energetic players and bringing on players who aren't necessarily bad, but just are slower? It hurts us. And on top of that, near the end of the game, Brighton really started to put a lot of pressure, and we didn't have Conte to help cut it out. And so it felt like every single time we cleared the ball, it was like right back at us, because we didn't have Conte to help us. We didn't have his speed to shut down anything coming back at us. So I don't know. It just seems a bizarre decision to take Conte off in any game. I thought it would have been much better to take off Fabregas for Drinkwater, just because I think he provides a lot more in the attack than he does defensively, Drinkwater. So I don't know. It seems bizarre to take Conte off, but whatever. It worked out. We kept a clean sheet, managed to get the win. So I am happy for that, but we need to cut out those first halves. We need to cut out games like that, because that's been the story of our season. We put in performances like that where we're not necessarily the worst team. We are better. We are creating chances, but we're not finishing, and we're not putting them under enough pressure, and so they have sort of free reign to hold the ball, and we aren't in possession enough. You look at Man City, one of the things that's been dominating for them this season is the fact that they put the other team under so much pressure that they constantly have the ball. And we know Pep loves this possession, but it's not just whenever they get the ball, they keep possession. It's whenever they don't have the ball, they want the ball back. They want to get that possession back. And while Conte's style doesn't necessarily demand that we have the ball. We've seen before he doesn't mind if they have it on their side of the field. Whenever we're at home and we're playing against a team like Brighton, we should want the ball. We should not be happy with, it's 0-0. Okay, you keep possession in your defense. It should be, no, we're going to get that ball back and we're going to score. And then when we're 1-0 up, then you can keep possession in your half. We don't care. But there are just too many games. The Everton game kind of felt like that at times, where it felt like, we were sort of happy to let them have possession and sort of play around a little bit. I feel like that's happened too much this season, and it's caused way too many close encounters or, a couple of draws that we should have won. The West Ham and Palace game, I really felt like that was a big case of it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm frustrated with performances like that, but overall I'm happy with the result. Moving forward, I hope that we can sort of get out of that funk where the first half is bad, because we really do need to step it up overall. But that's all for me, so let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? And obviously, what are your thoughts on the NBCSN Gold app? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.